get asked a lot about supplies. So I'm going to go over the supplies you need if you're going to take one of my classes, or even if you're just starting out, this will be helpful to you. When it comes to watercolor paints, really, that's not that big a deal about being really specific. I love these Paul Rubens that I get from Amazon. It's $25. These are highly pigmented, really great. There's also a professional Paul Rubens that's pink, but you don't need to spend $50 on it. This is $25. If you want to go cheaper than that, you totally can, because paints in the beginning, it's okay if you start with something a little less than professional grade. As for paper, though, that's another story. Don't go cheap on your paper. Canson is about $10 for this 30 sheet of 9 by 12. This is cold press paper. This is a pad. I buy this. This is the cheapest I would go. Hobby Lobby does have pretty good papers, so you can go there as well if you want. I get these and then I cut them into 5x7s, and I paint 5x7s, and I make like Christmas cards or lots of different cards out of it. You just write on the back, you slip it into a 5x7 envelope, and so they're postcard style note cards. So that's what I do with paper. Canson, $9.99 or higher, but don't go cheaper. It does not work. The other thing that we use a lot are the micron pens. Doesn't have to be micron, but it does need to be waterproof. And I do like having different sizes for different for the different projects. So if you're gonna work with me, it's really nice to have the microns, but you can get a fine tip Sharpie and it's going to be okay. Another thing that we use are these are cutting boards, and you can just get like a set of 4 of them on Amazon. And obviously you need painter's tape as well, and you just tape it down to your board, and then you paint on it so that it doesn't move and it stops it from curling up. So you get a set of these and your painter's tape, but really Scotch tape or any tape will work, and that's what you paint on. All right, so there's my paint. Another thing you'll need is always need a blow dryer. You need pencil and eraser, and then paper towels. You need 2 things of water, one for your initial rinse and one for always having clean water around. Then brushes. All right, so this brush set is called Artegia, I think. I like this set. It's only $25, but these brushes, I've been using them for a year now. And the most important thing about your brush is that it's gonna hold its point, okay? And like you can see here, this one, it still has a good point. This one does not. So these I've been using for a year, and they've held their points really nicely. But as for sizes, if you don't want to buy a whole set, you really need a scripting brush, which is a 0. A 1 will work. So this is a 0 round. And then you could get away with like an 8 or a 10 round, and then maybe one in the middle, a 5 or a 6. You can do anything you want with these 3. You need to have this small and a little bit bigger one. I also would recommend a 1-inch straight. But there you go. So on brushes, I have found if you get really cheap ones, that first of all, the tip goes away immediately, and secondly, they lose bristles on your painting, and that is a problem. It really is. So buy not the cheapest brush you can find, but you don't have to spend a lot of money on your brushes. You can get a little bit off brand and still do well. We use a lot of this white jelly roll, and you'll need a scissors if you I do cut my paper with a paper cutter. I don't use scissors because it's impossible to get that really nice and straight, for me anyway. If you can get some gouache, this is a permanent white, the white that comes in your your palette. This is transparent, so it doesn't really make great stars or whatever. So sometimes having this white gouache around can be really helpful. And this is a gold acrylic pen, and metallic, and it can be really fun for if you're writing words on your cards. Scissors, this spray bottle can be really good, but you don't need to have it. You can just wet your brush and wet it, but typically we wet our paints with a spray bottle. And I did mention paper towels, I think. All right, that's it. If you have questions, please let me know, but those are your supplies for my classes, or even if you're just starting out.